Welcome to all of you out there who are joining us here on Going Beyond. There's not many of us who can excel at everything they do and excel and do it well. So I think my guest today is one of those people. Everything he's touched has somehow turned to gold. His name is Ron Timmins. He lives overseas, here on a short trip, and he's going to talk to me about his life and his career. So, Ron, thank you first for being here with me. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
You started your life and went away to another country with your entire family many, many years ago. How long ago was that?
I left the shores of India on the 6th of April, 1968, and I went to Perth. I've been in Perth ever since for the last 50-odd years.
Yeah. You started your career in another country in the police department and spent many, many, many years of your life there. What was it like to be working in another country and in the police department?
I joined the police force on the 26th of January, 1970. I resigned from the police force. As a matter of fact, I took the redundancy on the 26th of January, 2014.
So that's over 40 years?
44 years, actually, from start to finish.
Right.
It was an exciting, wonderful career.
Really?
Yep.
It must have been all very new for you, I can imagine.
It was. I've never ever thought of being a police officer, but fortune changed, and it came my way. I went for the exams in Perth, and I passed them, and I joined the police academy, as I said, on the 26th of January, 1970.
Right. Now, over those years, you must have been in very many different areas of the police setup. So you ended up, I believe, as a detective, is what I have learned. So now tell me about that.
Indeed. I had to do 4 years in uniform, and I worked at various police stations in various suburbs and the country, as a matter of fact. A little town known as Pinjarra was one of my postings, and Rockingham, from where I joined the criminal investigation branch, known as the CIB, to become a detective.
Right. Was it fun to be a detective? Because being a detective is somewhat different from being a police officer, a different kind of on-the-beat police officer.
Yes, both facets of the police department controls law and order in essence. But a detective literally comes in later on and is more reactive rather than proactive. Once a crime is committed, it's our turn then to go into that particular situation and try and resolve it one way or the other. Whether we have an arrest or exonerate the person, but ultimately it's a choice that will be determined in our courts.
You must have to be a bit like a bulldog, I think, to be a detective. Am I getting it right? Is that the way it is? You have to be you can't let up, can you?
No, you can't. You got to learn the art of questioning, interrogation, because at the end of the day, when you're talking to a anybody that commits a criminal offence, you are literally selling them imprisonment. Once you get a confession and the other evidence that's available to find a prima facie case against that person, you put him up before the courts, and ultimately there's a chance of him going to prison for any length of time. So literally you're a salesman trying to sell to the offender or the suspect time in prison. But to get a confession.
But during all these years, you had your other secret little passion that was along the way. And that passion, I understand, is your love for cooking and your love for doing things in the kitchen. So how did these two gel?
My passion for cooking, I believe, was innate and inherent, which, because of that, led me to gravitate towards the kitchen. It was a passion more than anything else.
You started that passion as a very little boy, I think.
Yes, in my preteens. When I came back, I was in boarding school for some time, and when I came back for my holidays, the passion drew me to the kitchen, and I spent a lot of time with our cook in the kitchen, and that's how I formed the passion and continued with it till today, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about cooking and sitting with the cook and trying to cook something, I'm just wondering, what's the first dish you ever made?
Oh, surprising. you should ask me that, because the very, very first dish that I tried to cook was a recipe from my stepmother. I was brought up by a stepmother, my stepmother's cookbook, and it was a disaster, absolute
Really?
disaster.
What was it? What was the dish?
It was a little sweet dish known as 𝗪𝗂𝗁.
Yes. We still have that here, yes?
The recipe said that this particular recipe was done with semolina. The
Yes,
semolina, not
okay.
vermicelli, semolina.
Suji, yes.
You had to, for every cup of semolina, you had to have 2 cups of water. And the recipe said, to start off with, you put your oil on your ghee in a pan, heat it up, and then add this 2 cups of water if you had a cup of semolina, and put the water into hot oil, would you believe? All hell broke loose.
Oh, why? What happened?
Everything.
Did you catch fire or what?
No, it didn't, thank God, but it spluttered and splattered, and I literally had to turn the stove off.
Right.
I had a little portable stove that I was cooking, but it turned out to be okay later on.
Right. So from that first disaster, you seem to have climbed to quite a peak along the way, you know. So you developed it as you went along, or what?
I did develop it as I went along. It seemed to be a natural progression, from that little incident that could have been a disaster.
I would say.
Yes, I sort of did the cooking at home. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Till one day, my daughter rings me up and says, "Dad, her husband has resigned from his job, and he's going to take a couple of weeks off, and he'll see what he can do." Not long after that, she rang again in about a week's time and says, "Dad, he's thinking of buying a fish and chip shop." So I spoke to her over the phone. I said, "My babe, if you want to do that, why don't we do this?" And I decided then, I told her that I was always had this idea of starting a restaurant, and why don't we see if we can start a restaurant. And that's what we did.
But isn't it expensive? Would it not be quite expensive to start a restaurant in a different country? What do you do about finance? I mean, you're in the police department, and she is just sort of starting out, as it were. How did you cope with that? How did you do it? What did you do?
It was a natural progression. Once I sort of sowed the seed in her mind, Nathan, her husband, looked around and came across this Indian restaurant in a little suburb not far from where she lived, and decided that he was going to buy it, which we did. I took long service leave from the police department to set the thing up. We gutted it, painted the walls, put a couple of pictures up, paintings up, changed the bain-maries and the counter, and we started. We started in 2004, we started the restaurant.
How did the restaurant do? Was it successful? How did it work?
We ran the restaurant for 10 years.
That's a long time, isn't it?
Long time.
Yes.
It was fairly successful. I think we had a sitting capacity of about 60 people, but our restaurant was only open from 5 to 9 in the night. So managing 2 jobs at the same, mind you, I did the cooking in the restaurant. I did it for 10 years. But I also had my job as a police officer. But by this time, I had progressed through the lines, and I was in charge of an office in town. So I used to sign myself on at 6 o'clock in the morning, knock off at 3 in the afternoon. And as I said, our restaurant was only open from 5 to 9. So I used to drive straight to the restaurant and start the cooking. But Nathan, my son-in-law, used to get the preparation of the work done. I just went there and put the food together.
I'm just thinking, when you were trying to cope with this office job and your work at this restaurant, did it ever clash?
No, it didn't. I just managed to work things out. It was convenient.
You did say that it was an Indian restaurant, so I'm now definitely going to...
Let me correct you over there.
Yes, please.
It was Indian cuisine, but Anglo-Indian recipes. And we named our restaurant Green Coriander, which was always in the back of my mind. if I did have a restaurant, was to name it Green Coriander, which we did.
Is that kind of food popular in Australia or in Perth, where you come
very, from? Very popular. It was quite unique. The taste obviously is quite unique. It wasn't South Indian cuisine. It wasn't North Indian cuisine, but it was something unique. It
caught on really. It caught on really
quite well.
What about nowadays? Now this is 2026 now. Has Indian food grown in popularity in that country?
Very much, very much.
It's one of the cuisines of the world, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
So, are you able to sort of get out and taste the different cuisines that are available to you there?
Yes, we go around and taste the various restaurants around, the Thai restaurants, Chinese restaurants, obviously, cosmopolitan restaurants, and that sort of thing, yeah.
You ran that restaurant for 10 years. Then what?
The passion of cooking was always there. And whilst I was at the restaurant, I started a little cottage business, making curry paste, various types of curry paste, like the Anglian recipe paste, namely things like vindaloo, moli, green korma, butter chicken, and things like that. And in addition, I still am doing various pickles, aubergine or eggplant, as they call them, or two types, lime pickle, fish pickle, hot and sweet chili sauce, apple chutney for something different.
Quite a variety of stuff. So you began that when you actually had the restaurant. So then your restaurant shut down, I understand?
Yes.
Was there a reason for that?
Yes. Nathan was in the restaurant one Saturday morning, and apparently two Gujaratis, I've been told, walked into the restaurant, cash in their pockets apparently, or they were financial, and wanted to buy the restaurants for part of their family to come in on the particular sort of visa where they specialize in that type of cooking.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Which he sold. He virtually sold, I would say, made up his mind very quickly to sell it.
So that means virtually across the counter, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You can say that, yeah.
Did you have a little pang of sadness when that went off?
I did.
Yeah?
Because there was a big part of me that was taken away.
Part of your life.
Yep. It was, actually, to be quite truthful with you, it was a refuge. The restaurant was a refuge because I was going through certain problems at the time in my life, which is, we shall not...
Personal
issues. And the restaurant was a little sort of a refuge to the thing.
After that, you went in sort of whole hog onto making of the other, the other spices and stuff like that, the masalas, the ready-made paste that you're talking about. Yeah. Has that caught on, Ron?
Caught on very well. It has caught on very well. As I said, it's a cottage industry. I sell it by word of mouth. I haven't got time to put it in the shops or supermarkets. People just ring up, order it. The butter chicken is very, very, very popular.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder, how did it get so popular in a place like Australia? It's far away from North India, really.
Look, when I first got to Australia in 1968, you barely saw a pot of garlic being used around.
Is
Honestly,
it?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. But now there's not a dish that goes by that hasn't got garlic or some sort of Indian spice in it. So it's cotton on.
Right. Over the years with this particular business, do you see yourself expanding it in any way, or are you kind of satisfied?
No, I'm absolutely satisfied with what I'm doing at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
To really and truly get into a business of putting into supermarkets, etc.
You wouldn't like to go that route?
No, it becomes too complicated.
It's too, okay.
Only the business is registered, so, there's everything that is done is done thoroughly.
Okay. You have anyone to help you?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm by myself. I live by myself, and I just do everything. It becomes second nature to me, to be quite truthful. So it's not difficult, difficult at all.
Wouldn't it be easier on you to actually get some help in and, get some assistance in whatever you're doing? Or don't you trust, is it that you don't trust anybody else?
Labor is very expensive in Australia, very expensive.
Right, okay.
And I've only got a little cottage industry, and it just gives me pocket money.
Right. Would you think of going back into the restaurant business, or is there anything else that you dream about doing, Ron?
I harbor a very quiet, mind you, but intense dream. I would like to start a cafe. And I always had, for some reason or the other, because of circumstance, I was always had it again at the back of my mind to name the cafe 𝗂𝗲𝗁 And with that, which had sort of an Indian flavor to the name, I was going to look at making gourmet pies, like your butter chicken pies, your vindaloo pies, your curry pies, and things like that. And I don't know if you heard about a 𝗏𝗏 roll or sausage
yes,
rolls
indeed,
or
of course.
curry puffs as well.
Of course.
But having the background for the Europeans, when I talk about the Europeans, I'm talking about the Aussies and the British and people like that. If they come in and want a cake and a sandwich or whatever, have that in the background and you can serve that to them as well. But it's a dream, and I don't think...
How far away is that dream?
I don't think the dream will be manifested.
Why?
No.
Perhaps the next time you come into my studio, it should be on the cards.
Possibly.
Okay, but you know that there is a place called 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗃 in 𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗃 in the 𝗪𝗏𝗺 Hills.
Jennifer, I studied in 𝗪𝗃𝗃.
Really? Okay.
I am familiar with 𝗂𝗲𝗃.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where I got the idea from.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So what would it mean? Would you actually import the 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗃 coffee and then go that way?
That's what I have in mind, but let's see what happens in the future.
Okay. Your daughter, your son-in-law, the rest of your family, are they in fact still interested in perhaps opening another little place someday, maybe
Far
cafe?
from it.
No, far from it?
Even though a cafe is only open from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening, you're not working late hours, you're not working weekends and things like that. No, apparently they've had enough.
Really? Was it too much for them?
Apparently so. Apparently so.
Okay. Now, yes, you are doing this cooking, you're loving it, etc. But then do you find that you yourself are, cooking that kind of food? Do you eat that kind of food? Do you eat Indian food all the time? Anglo-Indian food all the time?
Yes, I do. You can't get away from your roots, I would say. And people come. I love having people come over for lunch or dinner. And they thoroughly enjoy it, and it gives me great pleasure to feed them.
Okay. Do you try out new recipes?
I do. Sometimes it's hit and miss, but yes, I do. But I stick to the ones that I know.
Tried and trusted, tested ones.
Yeah.
I have a lovely book here. That is a book that you put out about Anglo-Indian recipes.
Old-time Anglo-Indian recipes, yes, I did.
It seems a very interesting little book. Has it been doing well? Does it sell well?
As a matter of fact, it had the launch over here in Chennai. One of the hotels, I think it was. The name escapes me, so I couldn't tell you the name. But
Harrison's, I think it was.
Harrison's, was it?
Yes.
Yes, it was quite a success, the launch. And I've been selling a few books. I've sold books to people in the UK, Canada, America, and of course around Australia as well.
Right. I'm going to go back a bit and go back to your bottled recipes and your bottled paste that you do. Do you only sell them within Australia, within your own working environment, or what?
No. I've sent parcels to America, to the eastern states in Australia. Quite a few. I've got a few regular customers that send me emails for the bottles to be replenished, which I do. I've sent to Canada. Did I mention the UK?
Yes.
UK, yep.
That's book number 1. Is there book number 2, book number 3 on the cards anywhere?
It's a dream.
Another dream?
Another dream.
So you've told me now about 2 dreams already.
But this one is reachable.
I'm sure both are reachable, really. That recipe book.
But it's not an impossible dream.
Absolutely. Now that book itself
Yeah.
has a lot of sort of, is it mostly family recipes or is it your own recipes? Is it your grandmother's recipes?
I believe it's true and tested Anglo-Indian recipes.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Is that a cuisine that's not very popular anymore or what?
North Indian cooking is about the most popular, I believe. But Anglo-Indian cooking there's a certain niche that follow it. It's quite popular. It's
Is it developing, Ron?
Yes, it has developed, but it continues, and I hope it does continue.
Right.
You know.
You were all looking at that book. You also took part in a fairly well-known cooking competition.
Yes, I did.
And did very well. I want you to tell me about that, because that can't be easy in a place like that.
That was a few years ago. What happened? The West Australian government, with the tourist department section, put out a competition that they ran, looking for the West Australian signature dish, as they called it. So I saw this advertised in the papers, and they were calling for entrants. They had divided Western Australia into 4 parts: Perth, North, South, and West, of whatever the other regions were. So I saw this, and I sent up, I applied for it, put in my application, and I sent up a recipe to have a dish known as 𝗪𝗲𝗀. Now, one of the stipulations of the competition, the main ingredient had to be a West Australian ingredient, a West Australian beef. The main
dish, okay.
The main
course.
The main, not yet the main course, but the main ingredient had to be. So I chose barramundi fillet.
That's a type of fish, right?
A fish with a 𝗪𝗲𝗀 sauce, and I sent it up, and believe it or not, I won the Perth region.
Wow, that's something else.
It was quite an excitement.
Yes.
And then we had a cook-off at a big restaurant in Perth, in Kings Park, as a matter of fact, overlooking the city. And we had 4 of us were there, 4 finalists. I was one of them. The other 3 were girls. There's nothing wrong with that. But I did not win the final show.
So where did you come? You figured
I think I came second.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a simple...
I've got my reasons for that too, but I'm not going to get into that.
Okay. Now, I have another question to ask you. Have you ever faced any kind of antagonism, if that's the right word, about, sometimes women resent it when a man comes into the kitchen and he's a chef and he's better than I am, perhaps, for sure. I mean, have you ever had that kind of thing?
With due respect to women, I think men are better chefs.
Oh, no. The next competition will tell us, Ron. If there is another competition, do you believe that you would like to take part again?
I would love to, yeah. If the opportunity presents itself, yes.
Right. Where does it appear in the press? Does it appear on
television?
Come to the papers.
Come to the papers, our West Australian newspapers.
And you're
generally speaking, when they're advertised, yeah.
Right, and you're absolutely free to make whatever it is you want, cook whatever you want?
Well, there's certain stipulations. I remember one that I missed out on was they were looking for a gourmet pie. And it was one of the competitions that was run by a show in Perth. I forget the name of the show. It'll come to me in a minute. But I saw that advertisement a bit too late, and I just missed the closing date.
What about cooking classes and stuff like that? Have you ever considered doing that as a hobby more than anything else? I
have given cooking demonstrations in Perth amongst people that get to know my cuisine. Yes, they come over, and I've shown them how to cook certain dishes. We cook it at my place, and then we have it for lunch amongst the people that are there.
They enjoy it.
They enjoy it, yeah.
Sometimes people are not willing. You seem like a very generous person, but there are people who are not willing to necessarily share of their skills. Do you think that's a selfish way to think?
Yes, it is a selfish way. You did want to share your recipes. Why would you write a book?
True, indeed. In that book, there are mostly Anglo-Indian recipes.
They're all Anglo-Indian recipes.
All Anglo-Indian recipes.
Every one of them.
Okay. So are there that many Anglo-Indian recipes that you are now considering another book and another book, maybe a second book? I don't know about a third book.
Yes, there are a lot of other recipes that I did not touch upon. In particular, the sweets, pickles is not in that book, and a couple of other dishes that I haven't put in the first book, which I would like to do in the second book.
Right, but if you
upgrade it.
Okay, but if you have to put up and you do put out another book with all these pickled recipes and the other stuff that you're doing now, won't your other business actually suffer a little bit?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Isn't that you're so confident about your stuff, or what?
Look, I've heard this expression used before. No matter what a person follows a recipe, if they haven't got the touch, it never comes out the same as what the author or the chef of that recipe does. You know.
Right. Tell me finally, do you want to be known as a police officer? Do you want to be known as a chef? Do you want to be known as an entrepreneur? Which of these caps do you like the best?
I like them all.
You like? No, you can't. There must be
Look,
one.
I've got lots of satisfaction with being a police officer, especially as a detective for the 44 years that I was there. And now I'm enjoying this passion, which was a passion, as I said, was innate in me. And it gives me great satisfaction and joy.
So you feel fulfilled?
Not only that, when I cook something and there's somebody sitting at my table and I see the joy that they get from it, I hope I'm not bragging too much, but the joy you get great pleasure.
Yeah, they say that a good chef is never without friends. Am I right?
That's true. That's true.
Is that true?
True.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, anyway, I don't know. I've had a great time talking with you today. I do hope that you have many more books inside you. I do hope that you have another very nice restaurant or a cafe. And I really wish you every success. I hope you'll come back one day and see me. Thank you, Ron, so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Well, it was great talking to Ron Timmins about his work, about his life, and he was extremely interesting as a subject. And I hope that you out there listening to us have enjoyed hearing all that he's had to say. So until the next time, you take care. Bye for now.